Hi, I'm Morgan. I wanted to go ahead and share my thoughts on the Studio Ghibli film Whisper of the Heart. So I was actually not very familiar with this film coming into it, but some of my friends were watching it, and so I decided, you know what, I'll give it a chance. I'll check it out. It is definitely geared towards a younger audience. The main characters are middle school students, and the film makes me sad about just how fast teenagers in Japan are expected to grow up, because we have people who aren't even in high school yet trying to figure out what they're going to be doing for the entire rest of their lives. And it definitely makes me think about how even in America today, there's a lot of pressure on teenagers to figure out hey, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? And how people, when they're 18, 19 years old, are taking out student loans and deciding what career path they want to go down on forever. And so the film definitely felt a very slice of life, but also true to the struggles that real life people face. I would say though, there were some parts of the film that make me think, wow, we are expecting people to grow up way too fast. And maybe part of it's just culture shock, or the fact that I think this takes place, I think the film's from sometime in the 90s, but the technology that they were using, it made me think more before I was born. So I would say it almost feels like it's set more in the 80s to early 90s time frame, because by the time I have memories, we had computers with internet. And in the film, I remember there's this detail of they're starting to switch library books over from being paper over to being computerized. So to me, I think the film is probably set earlier than it was actually released, or at least that's just the impression I get. So there were just some things that made me think, okay, is this just a culture shock situation where it felt like they had a middle school student tasked with doing all of the housework, and also just I don't think, I don't want to give spoilers, but I just think there's a situation that comes up in the film that it's I think the characters are a little bit young for that, or to be making that sort of lifelong decision at that age. But yeah, other than the fact that it's oh my god, these people are growing up way too fast, and maybe that's just a cultural thing though, of maybe that's how it was in the 80s in Japan. But other than that, it's oh my gosh, this was just the most wholesome. It was such a wholesome film. I don't know, it was so very being dedicated to your passion, and figuring out what you want to do in life, and just applying yourself to a skill that you love, and finding the self-confidence to do that, even though you're really nervous to do that at first. Oh my gosh, I absolutely loved it. It was so wholesome. It was just such a wholesome film. I'm glad I watched it once. I don't feel it's really a film that I would rewatch, but I'm really glad that I saw it one time. So yeah, I would recommend Whisper of the Heart. I think it's incredibly touching, but it definitely does feel like a time capsule to a different time, or at least, how do I put this, as an American in the 2020s, it feels it's nostalgic for a time that I wasn't alive for and don't have nostalgia for. But I think it would probably be really nostalgic if someone was maybe in their 40s or something, or maybe 40s and lived in Japan and was looking back at that movie and thinking oh my gosh, I remember what my childhood was when I was that age, and oh my gosh, how technology used to be that way. I think it would be much more touching to someone who was more close to the source material, rather than being so far removed like myself. So yeah, I don't know, it was really wholesome. I would say, I don't think it really had anything inappropriate in it, so I think it would probably be something the sort of movie that you could probably take your kid to watch, or watch with your kid. I don't think it's got anything that's objectionable per se. But yeah, I thought it was like a really wholesome movie. Like, I don't know, I really thought it was a sweet movie. So yeah, I hope this video inspires you to maybe check out lesser known media or media you might not have immediately gravitated towards. And I hope you have a great day. Bye!